Good afternoon, everyone. This is Becca from Practice Works. I'm going to lead you in a practice of yoga this afternoon. We typically gather on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. to do mindful flow yoga at Practice Works. I've been teaching this class for a number of years. I hope some of my regulars are joining me on this Facebook Live, and maybe some other folks as well. We welcome everyone. We all need to support and help each other through these kind of crazy and somewhat difficult times in many, many ways. We're going to do about a 45-minute practice. That's my intention. You can obviously stay longer in the Shavasana if you would like. You just need somewhere to lie down. You could have a mat, especially if your floor is hard, but maybe a carpeted floor works. I also just have a towel. So you don't need any special equipment for this sequence. You might want a towel just for your knees. That's what I'm going to use it for. Otherwise, there's really nothing special that you need to have with you. So I want you to first just take a comfortable seat, or simply stand for a few moments if you're not comfortable sitting on the ground. And we're just going to do just a few moments of a centering breath and a meditation before we lie down and begin the practice. So just settle yourself into a seat or a stand, or even lie down, and you can close your eyes if you like. And just take a moment to lift a hand to your heart center. And then take your other hand and just hold it up facing outward. We're just going to use this simple mudra to symbolize, just to signify that we're sending out our heart to everyone affected, which is really everyone, by the situation we're all finding ourselves in, with some isolation and having to stop work and stop school and all of that stuff. So I just want to remind everyone that we will get through all this, and the best way to get through it is to get through it together. So we may be isolated in our own homes, but we can still connect, thankfully, and hopefully this will serve as a way to do it. So just with that hand on the heart and that hand facing forward, think about breathing in right here to this heart center, and then sending that out on the exhales. Sending out your support, sending out your love, sending out any measure of patience that you've been able to muster. And then envision that you're able to breathe that in from everyone else practicing here right now, everyone else around the world that's sending these same helpful, loving thoughts out to everyone as we go through this together. And then let the hands come together at the heart and bow the head. And just take a moment to be grateful for many things right now that you are benefiting from. We have technology to connect us. We are supporting each other in exciting and creative ways. And we still have yoga. So go ahead and come to lying on your back. You can lie with your knees bent or your legs out long. Now, I'm going to often be turning my head to the side in order to make sure that you can hear me. But don't feel like you have to turn your head in that way. I'll be simply turning my voice to the camera to hopefully make for better sound. And since this is our first time to do something like this, and I kind of just set this up here in my home on the fly, we'd appreciate feedback on how this worked for you, whether you could hear, whether you could see. We are all doing our best, right? Us included, you included. So any loving, helpful feedback about how we could make this experience work even better for you, we would love to hear it. So come on down onto your back. And again, you might want to rest with your knees bent, especially if your low back feels tight. However, if you feel comfortable letting your legs go down long on the floor, please feel free to rest in that position. And then have the hands just on your low belly. Again, you might want to close your eyes here. And we're just going to work with our breath for a few moments. As you inhale, just take your awareness down to the belly. And feel it rise into your hands. And as you exhale, just be soft and relaxed right now, and allow the belly to fall. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, soft and relaxed. And see if there's tension in any other part of the body that you can soften and let go of. When we experience a lot of anxiety and uncertainty, and certainly fear, our body takes on that tension and will hold it in our muscles and in our joints and in our nervous system. And there may not be much we can do about the uncertainty right now, but we can tap into our breath and our body from time to time and help mitigate that effect on our physical body. We can move our muscles and our joints in healthy ways, keep blood flow and circulation going, and help our body to feel better, which in turn will make our hearts and our minds feel better as well. So keep finding places that you can maybe soften and relax tension in the body. Some good places to look for are the face, around the jaw, into the shoulders and the neck, that belly area. So really be soft and relaxed in your belly right now. Don't try to push or pull the breath. Just breathe easy and comfortable and let any tension, any holding around the belly go as much as possible. The hips, low back, maybe another place where you could consciously soften and relax the muscles. Let's just take a few more rounds of these belly breaths. And you can start to see if it's comfortable to breathe in a little deeper and to breathe out a little slower. I find this is a good, very simple mantra to use at all times. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. And then let's go ahead and drop the hands off to your sides. And start to rock the knees, right and left. And you can start to move the head as well, opposite direction of the knees. Going only as far as feels comfortable in your body. So start small, gradually get bigger if it feels comfortable. And try to keep it at a relatively slow pace. Not snail-like slow, but our tendency might be to rush through things in this current state with a little extra anxiety. So we have to purposely slow down. Next time those knees are over to one side or the other, doesn't matter which, let them stay there. Maybe separate them if it's a little more comfortable. And then reach your arms overhead or as far overhead as is comfortable and stretch through your fingers. You'll notice that one side of the body is a whole lot more open and feels more long. That's the up side. And really breathe into that side, the ribs, the waist, the chest. And then bring the arms down and the knees come back up and just go side to side again a couple times. And then let's let the knees go to the other side, whichever is the other side for you. Separate the feet or the knees a little if you need to. And then when you're ready, reach the arms overhead and add a little bit more stretch or reach. Just go to what's comfortable for you. I always like to talk in my classes about your volume control. You get to decide whether you're turning the volume all the way up to 10 and you know, using your engagements, your reach, your stretch as much as possible, or maybe you're keeping the volume down a little lower. I encourage being gentle with yourself. Release and come back to center. It's a good idea to do something for your body, but don't push too hard, especially if your body feels tired or stiff or tight. Now let's bring one knee in towards you and just use the hands to hold either the front of the knee or the back of the knee, wherever is comfortable. And do just a little back and forth movement. We want to just loosen up the joints in the hip and the low back. So back and forth with this. And it's nice to tie this to your breath, if possible. Exhale as you pull the knee in. Inhale as you move the knee away. And again, listening to your body. Your body may or may not move quite the same way as mine does. So any of these movements that I'm showing, you might possibly be able to make them bigger, or you may need to make them smaller, or they might just look different. So I'll encourage you to do what your body needs. Listen to that body. All right, the next time you have this leg hugged in, stay in and take the other leg and stretch it out long on the floor and focus on that long leg. Reach through that foot, press that thigh to the ground. Hug this opposite knee in as close as is comfortable for you. And take about 3 more breaths here. Go back to that breathe in deeply. Breathe out slowly. Good, and then we'll slowly switch sides. I'm gonna bring that long leg back up to bent, drop that other foot down, and then just switch to the other side. Remember, hold back here if that's more comfortable, or hold in front. And again, back and forth. And you can see if you can find your breath, synchronize. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, knee away. Notice if this side of your body feels a little different than the other side. Possibly it's tighter, possibly it's looser. And then keep that knee in and take your other leg and stretch it out long on the floor. Reach through that foot. Try to press the thigh down towards the ground. This helps us open up the front of that hip. And then take 3 more breaths. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. And then I'm going to bring that leg back up, this foot down to the ground, and rock from side to side again. This time I'm going to spread my arms out to the sides here beside me and anchor into that upper back and into the arms a little bit. I'm going to walk my feet wider as I keep rocking until my feet get wider than my hips. And if you're on a mat, a typical yoga mat, you're going to be want to be right out at the edges of your mat. So your feet are maybe even off your mat. All right? And then I'm going to bend both knees, drop to one side. And that leg that's on the inside, the one that's over my mat, I'm going to reach that knee away from my body. Okay? Again, use your volume control. Do it a little, do it medium, do it a lot. So I'm going to push that knee away from my hip and my belly. I'm going to pull my belly button in and up away from my leg. And I'm going to spread those arms, and I'm going to try to turn into the side of the body that's kind of lifting away from the floor. Counter that twist. So I'm pulling my ribs back over to this side, away from where my knees are pointing. And I'm going to take a few breaths. And then if you'd like, you can sweep the arms up towards the ears and add a little more reach, the opposite direction of that knee. This is called traction twist. If you practice with me in person, you've done this plenty of times. If you haven't, I hope you're enjoying it. It's a good stretch for the fronts of the hips. If you've been sitting a lot, it's a great thing to do. All right, the knees are going to come back up. I'm just going to pause for a breath in and a breath out. And I'm going to make sure my feet are wide and drop both knees over to the other side. Now again, it's that knee on the inside, the one dropping to the middle of the mat, that I'm going to start reaching. I'm going to reach through that knee and pull my belly button up in the opposite direction. And then try to rotate my ribs away from the direction that my knees are pointed. So I'm rotating in the opposite direction. And then if I like, I can take my arms overhead. It's fine to leave them down here, however, if that's more comfortable. Take another couple breaths. And then release. And bring those knees back up. And walk them in. And then let's bring both knees in towards the chest. Again, hold fronts of the knees or backs of the thighs. And we'll do the back and forth with both legs. Exhale to pull them in. Inhale, knees away. Hopefully this feels good to your low back. Don't force it. If it feels pretty tight, just be easy on it. It might be that your tail, your buttocks kind of rock off the ground a little bit. Allow that to happen if it's comfortable for your low back. Keep it a little more gentle or small if it doesn't feel comfortable to your low back to come off. Good. And then let's either hold back here or drop your arms to the ground, either way. And take the feet up to the ceiling. Now you'll notice that I'm keeping my knees a little bit bent because my hamstrings aren't quite loose enough to go straight right now. And if the legs feel heavy, hold on. But I'm going to point and flex my feet and circle. Go both directions. And then reach up through the heels as much as is comfortable. And then if it's okay for your arms to release and come overhead, you can add this stretch. And then on the exhale, I'm going to drop my feet, pull these knees in. Inhale, stretch up. Remember, it's okay for knees to be bent. Some of us might be able to get knees straight. Exhale, hug in. Now, as another option, if you would like a little more crunch action, you can curl up here. So if it doesn't bother your neck, try adding that curl. So it's on the exhale. Inhale, arms and legs, stretch. Exhale, curl it in with or without the lift of the head. 3 more times. I'm actually not sure if that was 3. I forgot to count, so I'm going to do 1 more. All right, and then I'm going to release it down and just breathe. And roll it over, take your time. And come up onto hands and knees. Check your hair if you're on a video. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Okay, so this is where you might want a blanket or a towel to go across your mat. Just depends on how your knees feel and if the ground is hard, that sort of thing. So maybe put something underneath the knees. Come on into tabletop, which is a hands and knees position. All right, and we're going to just move through some cat-cow to start with. Exhale, get rounded up towards the ceiling. Inhale, take the chest forward and the tail up. Exhale, get round. Inhale, flatten it out and come to any amount of arch that's comfortable. Let's do 3 more. Inhale deeply. Exhale. exhale slowly. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Last one. Good. Now let's walk those hands over to one side of the mat. And then press back with your hips and just allow your head to drop through your arms. Again, you might see me lifting my head more than you need to, just so I don't lose the volume for the video. Stretch out that longer side. Breathe into that side of the body. And then ease it up and walk it over to the other side and press the hips back. Again, breathe into that long side of the body. I encourage you when you're practicing here with me or on your own or with some of the other lovely yogis in our community that are trying to give you content, to be in your body as much as possible. Really feel the sensations of your movements and your stretches. This helps us get a break from being in our head all the time. All right? So now let's take the one leg back behind. Put the toes down on your floor or your mat, and then just shift your weight back so that you get a stretch to that calf. Now I'm trying to maintain my strong arms, pushing away from the floor, not sinking in, and keeping my elbows squeezed in a little bit. And then I'm going to shift my weight forward and lift that leg up if possible. Hold my belly in firm, and then take the opposite arm and stretch it forward. Start to warm up the hips, the shoulders, and the core a little bit more. Take 2 more breaths here. And then I'll release it down. And I'm going to do that stretch long, but this time straight forward. Walk the hands forward, press the hips back. Drop the head. Maybe it touches the floor, maybe not. And then ease it back up and set those hands back up. As an alternative, you can be down on your elbows if your wrists get tired on hands and knees. Okay, for this first part, you could take the other leg back, toes down, and shift the weight back. Get a calf stretch. Now I can really tell that this calf is a lot tighter. It has been for a couple of weeks now. So I'm just going to try to really enjoy the feeling of stretching out this calf. And then we'll shift that weight forward. If you're down on your elbows, you could stay and just not lift an arm. Just do the leg lift. Leg up if possible. Opposite arm come up. Push nice and firm. Hold the belly in, but keep breathing. And then take it down. And again, walk those hands nice and long and push your hips back. Now inhale, shift forward, and I want you to come all the way to a plank position, but stay on your knees for now, okay? Push the floor away, hold the belly in, exhale, push the hips back and have the arms be long. Inhale, come forward, push the floor away, exhale, come back. 2 more times, just like that. Remember, you can come back to this option with the knees down if you need to in a moment when we go to something that might be a little more physical. Good, last one. Now this next time forward, you're gonna stay here and lower down to the floor. You might need to reposition the legs, wiggle the hips, get the tailbone a little longer, hands beside the chest, shoulders back, inhale, a baby cobra. Again, you may look higher, you may look lower in your lift, it's okay. 2 more times, shoulders back, inhale up, exhale down, 1 more. Exhale down. And then press back up to plank, hands and knees, and stretch it back. Good, now let's all just walk it up to a tall kneeling. Again, I'm just going to turn so you can see a little bit better. You don't have to turn. Roll those shoulders. Good, and roll the wrists. Good, now remember what I said about you could stay on your knees if you want and do what we just did. Or if you feel ready to do a little bit more, come up onto your toes for plank. Just make sure those thighs lift, belly stays in, don't sag the hips. We don't want to look like this. We want to keep everything pulled up and pulled in a little bit. So push away from the floor, inhale, exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Knees are soft. We're going to take a couple breaths here and just walk it out. So heels up and down. A little bit of movement there in your hips. Shake out your head. Good, and then let's go inhale forward to plank. Feel free to drop your knees. Exhale, push back to downward dog. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale, back to downward dog. I'm keeping my knees soft every time I go back to dog, just because it helps my body right now. So you might try that also. If it feels comfortable to get your knees straight, you could try that. All right, one more time forward to plank. Lower it down to the floor. I'm going to put my knees down first. Reposition if you need to, the arms, the legs. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Notice how that feels in your back body. Inhale again, lift up. Notice how it feels to open up the chest and the shoulders. One more. And then press back up, maybe to hands and knees, maybe to plank, downward facing dog. Take about 3 more breaths here in downward dog. All right, and then let's drop the knees, walk the hands back, come up tall, and bring one foot forward. As you bring that foot forward, go ahead and give yourself a little space so that foot is in front of your knee to start with. And then hands on your hips. Try to just level it up. If you're up high on this one side, drop that hip down. Lift up from your low belly. And just go ahead and do a little bit of forward and back. Forward and back. And I'm just looking for how far is comfortable for me today. I want to feel opening in my hip, some stretch there, not anything uncomfortable in my low back. So for some of us, it might be this much, or you might be able to go further. And now let's find a place to stay that you feel comfortable, that you feel supported, that you feel you can control, and bring the hands up to your heart. Inhale, I want you to squeeze back between those shoulder blades, pulling the hands back. Exhale, push forward. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, push forward. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, forward. One more time. Then turn the palms to face each other, reach up. Maybe lift that gaze, just see how comfortable you are, taking this into a little bit more of a back bend. And then bring the hands to the heart and gently twist towards that front leg. And in fact, you could bring a hand down here and here if you want. You could keep the hands at the heart. You could even come down and put your elbow on the knee. Okay, so we got a couple different choices here. Stay here, fold in. Again, we want this to be a comfortable twist that feels good to our low back. Looking past that back shoulder as possible if it's comfortable on your neck. Good, on that next inhale, unwind it, come back to the front, reach up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Transition back to tall kneeling. And then come down to a child's pose. So take your knees a little more open, your toes together, hips back, and then come down. Maybe place your hands under your forehead or your head all the way to the ground. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out slowly. Notice how your body feels. And then let's bring it up. We'll do that lunge to the other side. So bring the other foot forward. Again, maybe have that foot a little bit in front of your knee so you've got a little bit of room to move back and forth. Hands on the hips, keep them level, and go back and forth. And again, here's where you want to tune inward and see how your body feels to decide, are you going the right amount of movement? You don't have to go any certain distance. Good. And then we'll find a place to stay. Make sure there's a good lift up from that low belly, hands up to the heart, heart up to the hands. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, push forward. Now you keep going. I'm going to actually turn around just so that when we do the twist, I'm not facing away from you. So keep going. 3 more. Pull back. Exhale, push forward. Pull back. Push forward. Inhale. Exhale. Palms face each other. Reach up. Lift up through the chest. Maybe look up. It's always okay to go slightly wider with your arms. And then hands to the heart. And we'll take that twist. Turn towards the front leg. Stay here. Or go hands to knee and hip. Or come down on the forearm or the elbow. Turning the head and looking back is also an option. So remember, you might be here. You might be here. Unwind it, come back to the center, and back down into child's pose. Knees a little wide, hips back, head down, maybe on your hands to support your head if it doesn't get to the ground. We'll take 3 more breaths here. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly. All right, and then we're going to take it all the way up to standing. So if you'd like to take one more downward facing dog, that's one way to get there. You can come up into downward facing dog, give yourself 3 or 4 breaths, and then walk it to standing, okay? Or please feel free to come to hands and knees, bring 1 foot forward, and then stand up. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit so that it doesn't cut off my head, hopefully. It's testing all of our skills. Okay, so now you can't see my feet, but I think that'll be okay. So we're just going to start with stepping out wide. Whatever's comfortable, but something wider than the hips. And I'm just going to let my toes turn slightly out and not worry about them too much for now. I'm going to take my arms out and take a deep breath in. Exhale. Cross them over my heart. Now this time I've got my right hand in front. So just notice which one you have in front. Inhale, reach up. Looking up is optional. Exhale as I cross. This time I'm going to bring my left arm in front. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. So just switch. Which arm comes in front as you cross the heart? Looking up is optional. Keep paying attention. Which arm are you crossing close to the body first? One more time. And then hands on the hips. Now I'm going to have you turn a little bit. So I'm going to have you turn one leg in a little bit and the other leg out. Okay? All right. And then we're going to reach the arms back out and do just a little triangle tilt. So I'm just tilting towards the leg that's turned out and then coming back up. Now notice that my hips are turned a little bit towards my front leg, the one that's turned out. Okay, so I'm not trying to force it to the side. I'm just going to let it be easy here. And then exhale, I'm going to just tilt in, bending here so I can get a stretch to the inner thigh. Inhale, back up. Exhale, tilt in. Inhale, back up. And exhale, tilt in. Now this time as I come up, I'm going to bend that knee. Okay, and I might need to make my feet just a little bit longer. Let's see if I can adjust this any different. Okay. I'm gonna bend this knee, make sure it points right over my toes. And then bring an elbow down and just gently stretch up and over. If this shoulder isn't happy right there, try taking it this way. Good, and my legs are strong. Pushing this front knee, the bent knee out, pushing into my elbow, and then stretching through these fingers out here, all the way down to the foot that's back there. Take one more breath. And then inhale, come up. This is our warrior two position. Drop the arms, straighten that knee, and turn it back to here. We're going to inhale, reach up. Exhale, cross one arm in front. Inhale, reach up. Cross the other arm in front. And then arms out. We're going to turn the legs. I'm going to turn one leg a little bit in and turn the other leg out. And then a little triangle tilt. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, fold down. And back up. So just take it easy. Again, we're stretching that inner thigh here. That's okay if your hip is not squared to the side of your mat. Doesn't really need to be. One more time. And then coming up, I'm going to bend this knee, the one that's turned out. And I need to make myself a little longer to be comfortable. You may be just fine. Okay, keeping this bent knee pushed out and then reaching the arms up. I'll come into that side angle stretch. So I'll put this elbow here. It could be the hand. And I'm going to stretch this arm over. If it doesn't go easily over the top, take it underneath and over. Strong legs, push into the floor. Stretch from fingertips all the way down to that back leg. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then I'll come all the way back up to warrior two. And drop the arms and turn the legs and walk them in and just shake it out. All right. So we can do one more thing with legs a little bit wide. Okay. I'm adapting the sequence on the fly so that I can fit into the screen. So take the feet out, turn them out, sit down into a little bit of a squat. Inhale the arms up. Exhale. Again, cross in front of the heart. Inhale, squat. Cross the other arm in front of the heart. So it's inhale to squat. Exhale to come up. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Two more. Your squat could be deep or not. Good. And then dropping those hands, I'm going to take those toes and point them straight ahead. Hands to my thighs, okay, not my hips, but down here on my tops of my thighs. And that's where I'm going to bend. I'm going to bend forward. I'm just going to keep my hands right here. Some of you may be in easy reach of the ground. I don't want to encourage you to go to the ground because it might be too far away for some of us. Like it's a little too far away for me. Be too much on my hamstrings right now. So I'm going to keep my hands here on my legs. You can keep them on your hips. But if you are pretty close to the ground, feel free to drop your hands to the floor. We'll take a couple more breaths here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. And then soften those knees and come back up and walk the feet together. All right, we're coming back down to the floor. Tilting that again so you can see. All right. I'm going to come down onto our backs. You might want to come down on your side and then roll to your back. If you know you can roll yourself down from seated, you can do that as well. And let's just take a moment to settle here onto the floor. We built up a little bit of energy, hopefully, a little bit of breath and blood moving through the body. So just take a moment to feel that moving in your body and just to watch it as it sort of settles down a little bit. We're still with our same breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Good, and we're going to do a little bit of bridging next. Bridge is nice and stabilizing after those triangle and warrior side angles that we did. So arms at your side, turn the palms up, roll the shoulders underneath you, push into the feet, lift the hips. Again, we might all have a different height that we lift the hips. See what feels good to your body. Inhale to come up. Exhale. All the way down. Press the shoulders back so you get a little bit of opening across the chest. Exhale, coming down. 3 more, in and out. And this next one, let's hold. If you're not comfortable holding or you're just feeling a little tired, please go in and out still or come down and rest. So as you hold, you can maybe reposition that upper back to lift a little more through the chest. Push into the feet. Try to keep those knees parallel. And if it's comfortable for you to do so, you might walk your arms closer together. You might even clasp the hands. I'm not going to do that today, actually, because it feels a little too tight. So I'm going to keep my arms down and apart, but keep lifting the ribs, the chest, the hips. And then let's start to bring it back down. Walk the shoulders out, roll the spine down slowly, and rock from side to side. Just like we started. You can turn your head side to side as well. Good. And then we're going to do both knees in, hold here or back here. Exhale, bring them in a little closer. Inhale, knees away. Exhale, bring them in a little closer. Inhale, knees away. Good. Now, just a little bit of stretching for our hips. Cross the ankle to knee, either side. You're gently pushing this knee that's crossed away. And then you can stay right here. I'm going to turn a little bit so you can see, maybe, all right, what that looks like. Okay, figure 4. And then maybe pick up and hold behind that thigh. This will bring the stretch in a little more, make it a little deeper stretch on your outer hip and glutes. And then come back to your breath. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, and tune into the sensation of your body. How does this hip feel? Is this a pleasant stretch? Is it a tight place in your body? Does it dissipate after you stay here for a few breaths? Good. Now again, I'm going to say turns. Hopefully you can see. I'm going to take this leg that I just had and cross it all the way over. Now whichever leg is on top, that's the direction you're going to keep on going. After you spread out your arms, you're going to drop the knees in that same direction. Whichever leg is on top, keep going in that direction. Crossing over, rolling over. If this is not so comfortable for your low back, please bring your knees back up and do a small, gentle rock in and out instead of trying to hold. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out slowly. Inhale, bring the knees back up. Uncross. And just pause a moment. Notice how you feel. And then we'll cross the other way. So ankle to knee, other side. This crossed knee pushes gently away. You may stay here. You may decide go in a little further is right for you. Pick up the leg and hold behind the thigh. And once you've found your place, tune into the sensation in your body. How does this hip feel? Is this side as tight as the other side, or is it different? Is the sensation of stretch in a slightly different place on this side than the other side? And then we'll release this and cross this top leg all the way over. And we're going to just keep going in that direction, that leg is pointing, that leg is crossing. Keep going and let the legs twist in that direction. Anchor with the arms, nice and spread. And if that's not so comfortable, remember, it might feel better to rock in and out, help to loosen some things up. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out slowly. And then inhale, both knees come back up, uncross. And just notice how you feel again. Take a moment to check in. If your body needs something before we go to Shavasana, please feel free to take a moment to maybe hug the knees or rock a little bit more. You can take your knees together and your feet apart for a nice resting position for your low back and hips. If you feel comfortable stretching your legs all the way out long, you could do that instead. If you happen to have a pillow or bolster or blanket that you want to use underneath your knees, you can. And your towel could be useful. I'm just going to fold mine up real quick and put it underneath my head. Arms can rest at your sides or on your belly. And I'm going to take you just through a brief body scan. to give your mind a little something more to occupy itself with, and again, to help you get in touch and into your body. So take your awareness, your breath to your right hand and fingers. And just notice how the right hand is resting with the curl of the fingers, the hollowness of the palm. Bring your awareness slowly up your right arm, passing the crook of your elbow up into that right shoulder, right up to the right side of the neck. Notice if you are turning your head slightly or if there's tension there. And then slowly bring your awareness up to the right side of your face. Notice your right ear, your right cheek, the right eyeball. And then come over to the crown of the head, the very top of your head, your scalp. See if you can imagine that softening and becoming more relaxed. And then we'll bring that awareness down the left side of the face. Notice the left eye, the left cheek. You soften the jaw. Down the left side of your neck, into your left shoulder. Take a moment to see if that left shoulder can relax a bit. Notice if it's holding tension. And then guide your awareness down your left arm through the bend of the elbow, all the way down to the left hand, noticing the curl of the fingers, the hollow of the palm. And then bring your attention to your right foot. Just notice your right foot, how it's positioned, what it's touching. Bring your awareness up your right leg slowly. Noticing the bend of the knee, the right knee, and into the right thigh. All the way up to the right side of your hips, the right side of your pelvis. Notice that right gluteal muscle, relax it into the floor. Come all the way up the back of that right hip till you get to the right side of your lower back. Bring your awareness around to the right side of your waist, into the front of the right hip. And then we'll come across the low belly, under the navel. Feel the breath rise and fall. Then slowly bring your awareness around to the left side of your pelvis, the front of the left hip. Come around to the left waist, and back to the left buttocks, left side of the lower back. And then follow down the left leg through the thigh, past the knee, down through the left lower leg until you get to the left foot. And then let's bring your awareness to your heart. You can even place a hand there again if you'd like. Maybe the other hand on your belly. And just take a few moments to feel the breath rise and fall in your body. If it's awkward to hold your hands here, just place them back to your sides and bring your awareness to your heart and your belly to feel the breath. I encourage you to stay in Shavasana for longer if you would like. In fact, you can listen to the closing instructions from lying on your back. You do not have to roll over and sit up. But if you are ready to do so, just make some gentle movements. Bend your knees. Roll it over to one side. Take your time, pressing up and taking a comfortable seat. Might be cross-legged, might be kneeling, might need to have your legs out in front. Just take a moment to sit tall. And again, just check in and notice, how does your body feel? Did it appreciate this attention that you gave it? Did it appreciate the movements that you made? And check in with the rest of your being. How does your mind feel? Is there a little more clarity? Do you enjoy having that little bit of a break, a rest? How does your heart feel? Lift your hands to your heart as you're ready. Always reminded of a certain mantra or saying that I'm certain that many of you have heard before during times like these that are difficult and uncertain and throw us out of our typical patterns. This too shall pass. Take a deep breath in, maybe repeat that to yourself. This too shall pass. Whatever feeling you're having through all of this, whatever emotional state, this too shall pass. If you're receiving a blessing of sorts with this extra time with family and self and home, know that this too shall pass. Take advantage of what is available to you, what you can enjoy during this time. Reach out to others, including all of us at Practice Works, for the support and help that you need. Let's take one more breath together. Reaching the arms forward and up. Exhale, the hands to the heart, bowing the head, and with gratitude for all things. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me. You can also access this. It'll be in our feed for a period of time, maybe forever. I'm not sure how that works. We're working on some other ways of delivering you some content, meditations, and yoga practices that may support you and your body and your health and your well-being. Just know that we love and miss you, and we hope we are all back together in person very soon. Take good care.